we will begin with, actually, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gotta love
it. Okay. Yeah. We are definitely not a choir. Let's go ahead and go to roll call, please, Lenny.
Okay. Let me get a notebook there.
Is somebody taking minutes?
Let me step out of the office really quick and ensure that this happens. Here, give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. A minute taker joined the wrong meeting, so I have to send her the corrected link. Give me that. Give me a second here.
Who's going to be doing minutes, Brittany?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, she should be getting that shortly. All right, we are recording. So roll call. Roger, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Roger's here. Stan.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
Dolores.
Here.
Bev.
Here.
Dan. Well, we see Dan, so we know Dan's alive. He must be muted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're missing Pam, Stephanie, and who else? Who else am I missing?
Does Nemska and Gary Winnuck know about the meeting?
This isn't a regular meeting. This is just our regular meeting next week. Okay.
Okay.
So
now I have.
that's 9 making you, Mike. You know, unless we're supposed to have 9 and Rollin. Yeah, that's who we're missing.
Yeah, Rollin.
And I did call all these people and leave this information, so everybody should have had it.
Okay.
All right, we're good to go.
Is this our regular board meeting, Lenny, or is this a?
This is a in-betweeny board meeting to address some issues that we're having with communication and needing for subcommittees and ease of business meeting.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to verify and make that kind of public knowledge.
Yep.
Okay, Lenny, because the agenda items are basically all yours, and this is not a regular meeting, so we're not going to be doing committee reports or anything. I'm going to let you sort of go, and especially since I have no visual at all, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I wanted to start off by talking. I'm going to mute everybody really quickly so that I don't get any feedback, and then I will unmute you all to have comments after each agenda item. The first agenda item we're going to talk about is the approval of the USDA grant that we got. The USDA sent out a grant, and that would allow all of its distributors to partner with the local food pantries and food banks in the area. Gordon Foods put in for that particular grant and worked with us to secure the need to get this food out. We agreed to put out about 1,300, 1,400 food boxes a week for the next 32 weeks. We were approved for that grant, and that program is due to start June the 5th with our first delivery. There are a couple of things that we need to purchase to make this thing happen. We were trying to work out buses, we're trying to work out delivery trucks, we're trying to work out just the logistics of getting the food out. To buy or to rent a delivery truck like a U-Haul or Penske was somewhere in the neighborhood of $21,285 for the entirety of the program for the 32 weeks, not including mileage and our gas. To use one of the district buses from the Oconee County school systems was $11,000. That's including staff and gas. So what we're going to do in lieu of this to kind of save money, because we're not getting any money to do these boxes, but we're just getting the food, we're going to purchase a trailer from Alpina Trim for about $3,000, and that's going to give us a 6x12 enclosed trailer that we can put these food boxes. Now that item I have is going to line item out of the Food Bank of Lincoln's budget, because that is a food related expense, and then we will justify that based off of that is the promotion of this program. So to continue the viability of the promotion of this program for the Food Bank of Lincoln, the Food Bank of Lincoln has to reinvest into itself to purchase that trailer to make sure it can still provide food to the community. So that is what we're going to do, because there is no other viable options to buy a bus, rent a bus. It's not a viable option. And this program initially was supposed to start May 18th, but because we didn't have a distribution chain set up, we pushed it back to the 1st of June. So I'm going to unmute you all. If you have any questions about that program, now is the time to ask. Any questions? You guys are all unmuted.
I would like to ask who's going to get this food. What's the criteria to get the food? Poor income, low income, or anybody, or what?
Right now, there was some strings attached with other partners, but we didn't go that way, so we decided not to partner with those agencies. And with Golden Food is anybody and everybody. We ring the dinner bell, they come pick up a box. We are setting up 4 drop-off stations. I would have liked to have done more, but currently, right now, can't quote me on that 100%. I'm not ready. I will send out a press release, Mary, but we're looking at Black River. We're looking at Barton City. We're looking at the South End Fire Hall Station in Hubbard Lake. And we're looking at Mankato as being the 4 locations in Oconee County, in addition to the site at the elementary school for pickup locations for this food. And our first distribution of this is 21 pallets. That's going to be on Friday morning between 9 and 10. And our volunteers are going to break that stuff down, put that in boxes, and distribute that out to those locations.
Okay. And is that like a drive-through also?
Yes, we're going to be stressing no contact. So basically, any individual that can come through and pick up a box. Yes, I already know what you're going to say. I am not worried. I'm not going to log in license plates. I'm not going to, log in people's vehicles. If we have the trick-or-treaters that will drive from one location to the next, that's between them and God. I can't regulate that. But all I can do is just say, these are the 4 locations that individuals can pick up food. We're going to try to target those locations and target people that we can drop food off to. That's our primary. So we're going to be working out with the schools to locate their backpack program kids. We're going to be working with Scott Rice to continue to deliver to the Lincoln Manor Apartments. We got our former board member who's picking up food for his trailer park community. So we're going to be trying to target specific those individuals who need those food. But for the most part, this is just kind of an opportunity for people just to continue to get food for the next few weeks. I don't know how this is going to last. This could last a month or 2 months, but the USDA required us to sign up for 32 weeks. It could be that we're done in 8 weeks, but we had to sign up for 32.
Okay.
Any
And
other
this is going to be
questions?
it's going
What's
to be
that?
four different days, like Friday at Hubbard Lake and then the following Friday at Mankato and that sort of thing, or
No,
is it going to hit?
no, it's going to be, okay, so June 5th, all 5 locations.
Oh,
June-
all 5 in
June-
the same day.
Yes, June 12th,
Okay.
all 5 locations.
Okay.
June 26th, all 5 locations until food is gone.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Do you get food for each day that you are giving it, or do we get just a one deal, and when that's gone, you only have 1 day of food?
No, what's in a box, what's in a typical box, you're going to get 5 pounds of chicken, 5 pounds of beef, 5 pounds of pork, about 5 to 10 pounds of butter and cheese, and an assortment of produce weekly.
Wow, that's good.
Ooh,
Can we have some kind of a site out in the Glenny area?
I would have liked
Or-
that, but no one stepped up and said they wanted to do a site in the Glenny area. So we're going to do those 4 sites that agreed to get on this chain.
Okay. Okay, well, maybe we could figure out a place out in the Glenny area that, or, you know, Curran maybe or something.
Barton
out
City is
in that
Barton
direction.
City. Barton City is the closest in that area that people, those residents, can come over.
Okay.
We
and go
have
to Mankato?
and Mankato. We are doing it in Mankato.
Okay.
We've reached out to those managers in those particular areas, but we are in a time sensitive manner that we had to solidify this distribution chain. We could not wait for individuals to kind of, you know, ferry this thing out. So we got to solidify that and then move it towards, you know, getting towards distribution. So this is what we're going to go with hitting the 4 corners of Elkona.
Are you looking for volunteers for this also?
Yes, you can talk to our volunteer coordinator or talk to our Food Bank of Lincoln coordinator, and they will put you to work.
That's the girl right in the office there in Lincoln, right?
Yep.
I forgot what her name was, but
The Food
yeah.
Bank of Lincoln program coordinator is Deborah Reams, and then our
Debbie,
volunteer
okay.
coordinator right now is Jim Dole. So either one of those individuals you can contact, and then they will
Okay.
put you in the right spots to be utilized for those programs.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'm going to mute you all, move to the second agenda item. Okay, so the second agenda item, make sure I didn't mute myself. The second agenda item is communications and subcommittees. I cannot stress to you the importance of being versatile. We like this, having to have a massive board meeting to make decisions is hampering our ability to do business within a timely manner and to respond within a timely manner. Especially for those individuals that do not use email or utilize technology. It is hurting us. We need to put together some subcommittees and groups that can, that are willing, you know, like we don't have to have the 9. We need to empower these subcommittees to create team leaders, establish protocols, to approve budgets, and then at the end of it, maybe come back for final authorization over the totality of a project. So say, for example, if we say we're going to put together a building committee, the building committee can initiate the startups and the start of the project, but the overall ending of the project has to come back to the full board. You know, so those are the kind of things that we're looking at trying to do. I have a couple of ideas of what some of these smaller subcommittees need to be. So let's talk, I'm gonna unmute you and let's talk about the needs for communication via email and Zoom, and see if you guys have some feedback for that. All right, you guys are all unmuted. So what do you guys think about that? Then, you know, and the need for having, you know, communication and having smaller committees versus having a full board to meet. Now, this is not going to take away from our normal monthly board meeting, but if I need to get some decisions, going, we can have certain committees, go forward and be active.
I'll help out, but I
Well,
don't want to be in charge of it.
I think it's important that we do something like this because there's some of these decisions that need to be.
Uh-oh, Mike froze. I think Mike was saying that some of these decisions need to be made very quickly and timely.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Ex officio, so I wouldn't be a voting member of any of the member.
Right. We have some new blood in here as well, some new committee meeting, but we definitely got to have individuals that utilize email. I can create you an email through our agency, but you got to be able to check it regularly and use it and utilize it. I can create all the board an email, but if you don't check it and you don't utilize it, it's worthless. Having bi-weekly subcommittee meetings, even if it's in this format, will help, decrease the log jam on our normal board meeting, because we would be able to have a fundraiser committee meeting, and that would be new business and fundraising. There would be program and planning, new business to talk about towards that. Well, right now we don't have these committees, and we have them, but they're not activated. They're not moving.
So Lenny, what if you kind of set forth, like what committees are you proposing that we have? And then if so, would it be best just to, I've seen organizations do it a lot of different ways. Some people set up committee meetings once a month or whatever, bi-weekly, whatever the schedule people want, and then cancel them if there's nothing on the docket. I've seen them have standing committees and just schedule meetings as needed, because really nobody's eager to attend more meetings, and do stuff like that at this point. So I'm kind of more supportive of the latter, like create your committees. Let's divide and conquer, a little bit in terms of who's on each committee, and try to get experts in the areas that they need to be, and then meet as needed, and obviously and have fewer committees, the better, truthfully.
Right. I like the fact, and some of this you don't even have to meet. Like some of this, if we had 3 people that we can shoot emails back and forth to, that can count as a meeting. It's just getting all the ducks and the cats in the barn, trying to get it going. My first meeting I would want to put together, or my first subcommittee that I would like, is a pandemic response team. I have in the later agenda items, I put together a COVID opening policy. I know you guys kind of endowed me with a lot of executive powers because of the emergency situation that we're in, but we really need to kind of discuss and make sure all of us are on the same page with the response of how we're going to schedule reopening back up the facility. Because I'm more of a error on the side of caution than to say, let's everybody come back to the facility, and we just open it all up. So I do have a plan to talk about that, but I think that committee needs to be a committee. We have a buildings and grounds committee, but that is strictly for ACCOA and the building of ACCOA. So I don't know if that committee would constitute new projects, but I would like to have like a new building projects and ground, or a new building projects committee. And then finally, we need to decide if the personnel committee, it covers like employee benefits, retirements, those kind of different things, or do we need to have a different committee apart from that?
I personally think that we, the employee benefits and pay and all of that probably could be handled by the overall personnel committee.
Okay.
or whatever we're going to call it, that probably needs to be a separate committee from Building and Grounds that would be focused on any new projects that we might be investigating, taking on, et cetera. That's just my personal feeling. Regarding rules of order and all of that, I don't think it really matters much. But if we could get 3 people that are focused on moving forward in the future with any projects, it doesn't bother me whether it's still part of the Building and Grounds Committee or a separate committee, but I think it might work better as a separate committee.
Okay. Well, Mike, you're automatically on the committee because you're on every committee. And
Yep.
I guess this is kind of in response to Rollins' question in our last board meeting, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to say if they would like to be on the pandemic response team or the pandemic response committee. And what that committee will do will help set policy for reopening ACCOA. We're going to review data and go back and forth on, like for example, if we are going to fever test and have questionnaires to any and all participants who come into the building. That needs to be clarified.
I would be on that committee, but I want a question. Is it really staticky or is it just my phone?
Mine's the same way.
Yeah, it's kind of staticky. I mean, Zoom is being pushed to the test. Everybody is using Zoom, so I'm sure there's probably 800 meetings going on right now and utilizing their servers. So,
and everybody
really
in
hard.
the world is on the internet.
Yeah, it's hard to understand what people are saying.
Okay, so Dolores, it sounds like you are wanting to be on the pandemic response committee, correct?
Yes, I will.
Okay, I need 2 others. I thought I might have heard somebody.
Stan.
Stan, you're interested in being on the pandemic response committee? Yes. All right.
Yes.
We need 1 more brave soul.
So my question
come on,
is,
Dan.
no. I've been
You don't have enough
a lot of
meetings.
pandemic response stuff going on right now. So my question would be, I would like to serve on the committee that I feel like would be best fit. I think at this point, I don't have a preference in terms of, what that looks like. I don't know, I know initially I was going to be on like the personnel and bylaws and, those type of related pieces. So I can commit to one committee, and I feel like we all should probably maybe try to just commit to one, and divide and conquer the best that we can. And that way we are developing experts, within
I'm gonna nominate Stephanie. That's right up her alley. She works with Alcona Health Centers. I think she would be a wealth of information for that.
Right.
So she's gonna be voluntold that she's on this committee.
So what happens when you don't come to a meeting?
Exactly. So that leaves me, Mike, Stephanie, Stan, Dolores, all for the pandemic response committee. And then we can form an internal email or Google Meet or this same platform to talk about phase 2. I'll explain phase 1 later on in the agenda of what we're planning to do. I'm also going to move agenda item number 3, which I had benefits for employees and retirement benefits. I met with Ms. Sheila from Edward Jones, and she's going to be working with us to put together a 401k retirement benefit plan for our employees. But that is also something that we would have to pay for as a pool. And because we would be pooling, our employees would get a better rate based off of those services. The benefits we can talk about under that our current personnel committee, which is Dolores, Stan, and Rollin, and Mike and me, I believe. I have an old sheet, so I'm using a very old sheet. So let me make sure that that's correct. So Personnel Committee.
Good girl.
All right, Personnel Committee, is that you, Dolores? Yes?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're part of the Personnel Committee as well, right?
Can you say that again? I can't understand. It's so staticky.
Are you part of the Personnel Committee as well?
Yes.
Okay. Stan, are you part of the Personnel Committee, right? Yes?
Yes.
I thought so. Trying to remember who was all at that meeting. Dan, you're not a part of the Personnel Committee. I don't believe so. And then
No,
didn't we
Dan
have,
filled in.
okay. Is it Pam? Is Pam a part of the Personnel Committee?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Well, she's volunteered. No, I'm kidding. But I think she was. I think she was supposed to be there. So Dolores, Stan, Pam,
She
Mike,
sat
and
in
me.
on the interview. I know.
Yeah. So that's 5 because me and Mike are part of all committees, and then that will bring it 3. Okay, so that's now good for that. And then let's talk about new projects committee. I'm sure we can find a better name for it, but new projects committee. So Mike and
Benny?
me, yes.
This is Beverly, and I'm beginning to think that if you can find a replacement for me, I think it would be well that you do that, because I'm too outdated for what you want to do, and I don't want to hold you back.
You're not holding us back. We just got to figure out a way to get you involved, you know, and that's it. That's the thing. I think, you know, having you try to make all the meetings wouldn't be beneficial, but I think if we can target and say, you know, because your voice is just as important, because we serve your community and we need your voice on the committee.
Yes, I know, and I realize it, but my term is up in September anyway, and because of some health issues with my husband, I'm not going to be able to continue anyway.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that would fall into our nominating committee. So that's something that we just have to figure out, is replacing those individuals who are going to be leaving out. Well, thank you for your term of service, and Ms. Bev, I appreciate that. Dan, new project, is that something that you would be interested on?
I get worried we're creating too many committees. I would really like to, I like to steer us back to having 3 committees or so, but you know, because this is what, committee number 5, 4?
Well, we don't, I say we combine a few, like personnel can be combined with finance or something.
That would make sense. Then it can build new projects is the, you know, that's an interesting one, because you know, that's not facilities and grounds, right? You know, it's
no, because
slightly,
this new project committee needs to talk about things like the upcoming millage, you know, so that's kind of, you know, new programs that we're going to be offering. So we're going to have that kind of committee to kind of discuss these things.
Apparently, we have a new board member.
Yeah.
Get out.
Put him on a committee, quick.
so Lenny, you can put me on the new projects committee. You know, it's just, I'll just do my best to try to be engaged.
Yeah, and the vision I had for the new projects committee would be not just building stuff, but things like the food bank of Lincoln and other initiatives that we might be creating.
Right. That on this old sheet, I have an executive committee, and then here's all the committees that I have under this old sheet that was given to me: executive, finance, fundraising, program planning, building and grounds, policies and procedures, personnel committee, and nomination committee. We could combine the executive committee along with the program committee. And that can be utilized together.
And possibly the nominating committee in maybe with the personnel committee
Okay.
or the executive, either one. I'd like to have a voice from as many people as possible on the nominating committee, though, because we want to make sure we're not, you know, that we're getting diversity on the board as far as range of opinions and things like that.
You know, we did this one time. We broke it down to 2 committees, and we put, and I can't remember, I think I gave you a list one time, Lenny. We put
This is
so
what you
many
gave
on
me.
one committee and so many on the other.
This is what you gave me. I'm using what you handed me. And we
Okay.
have 8 committees. And then you have handwritten stuff down here, finance and nominating. So I will say this, then let's do personnel.
Knock it off. No.
Personnel committee, nomination, and finance is one committee.
Yeah, I think, Lenny, I think it was my first meeting as president, we realigned the committees. So that should be in the minutes somewhere as far
Okay.
as, because we did try and pare it down to 2 or 3 committees.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I don't have access, but
It looks like you have finance, policies and procedures, and personnel in one committee.
Right.
that looks right.
There's so there's like 4 people on that one, and then the other one there's 4 people on the other group.
So on this handwritten note right here, you have Dan, Dolores, and Rollin underneath those committees. So you have
Right.
personnel, policies and procedures, and finance committee. Okay. And then you also have nominating, buildings and grounds, and then and fundraising, because you had program planning again. No, you have fundraising and program planning, and you have no people for that.
I'd have to look back in the minutes because I just forget off the top of my head, but I know that we divided the committees in 2, but like 4 people on this group of committees and 4 people on another group, so that there wasn't so many committees. We combined them and
Right.
put 4 people on them.
Right.
I think
Okay.
actually it was 3 people plus myself ex officio.
Yes.
So I have your breakdown. You have personnel, policy, procedure, and finance for one committee, nominating, building and grounds, fundraising, and program projects or program planning. Those are your 2 committee groups that you have.
Right. And
And
we had so
then-
many people on the first one and so many on the second one.
Right. Well, that's not listed. I have names that are written down here, like I have Stan, Rogers, and Bev, but I don't have which committee they're attached to. So if you guys want to get back with me, or we can work this out now, of who's attached to what to those committees. We can do 2 committees, that's fine. We just need to know who's on the committees, and they have to use technology to communicate in those committees.
It doesn't matter to me how we do it.
I
We
think
can
we need to-
always, for those extra things, you know, instead of creating a committee for new projects, we can just make that a function
program
of
planning.
the other committee. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I'll do. So that we have established, we have Dan, Dolores, Rollin, and Mike and me. That will be, for the minutes, that will be the people that will be on the personnel committee, the policies and procedures committee, the finance committee, and the program planning committee. So that would be Dan, Mike, Roland, Dolores, and myself. But me and Mike are there.
That's
So
all
that-
right with me.
So that would be 3. Okay, building
Okay.
and grounds, that would be Stan. Roger is a part of that committee.
Yeah.
Bev is a part of that committee. And who else are we're missing? We need to have Stephanie.
And Pam.
We can just say, you know, we can have Pam and Stephanie, but right now I'm writing down what was 3 because we at the time these meetings were created, we were not a full board. Or these committees were created, we weren't a full board. So Stan, Roger, and Bev for right now. Bev, I know you're going to leave in September, and Stephanie, Pam, she can determine which one she wants to be a part of, but to be for groups, she'll probably want to have to go to the other, excuse me. But that is the nominating committee, the building and grounds committee, the fundraising committee. Those are the 3 remaining committees.
Or
That would be,
subcommittees of a committee.
and that was that?
I said, or subcommittees of a committee. That way we don't have 8,000
Right.
committees.
Right. And then, so talking about benefits, that would be the finance, the pandemic response team that would fall under policies and procedures. So that'd be that committee. So we'll talk about that. So those 2 agenda items will move to those other committees. Everyone good with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So that we don't take as much time, Sheila is the next agenda item. I met with Sheila, and we are ready to move on the projects that we had discussed in our financial part of things in our closed session. She has now secured the accounts that need to be taken care of and opened it up on her side. So the 3 particular projects, Sheila, did you want to kind of go over those, or did you just want me to kind of give a quick cursory, summary of those?
You can give a cursory, and then if people have questions, I'm happy to provide more insight.
Okay, so basically there are 3 types of programs that we're looking at doing, all of which are better than what we are currently using, okay? So we have a money market account that is really tanked and taken a bath because of the stock market, and we're producing less than 0.01%. So that's less of a fraction of a 1% of interest that we're gaining monthly. So that needs to go. So that account's not making us any money. We're actually paying the bank to hold our money at this point. So that account needs to move. Our jumbo CD has matured, and that money needs to move. So we have, which is a bond debt product that is very low risk, that is basically purchasing debt that is already in the market, and then, or actually wouldn't even be in the market, correct, Sheila? It's not, that product's not even in the market.
Correct. It's just a bond fund. So we buy the debt and accept the interest payments as they come in.
And that yield is about 2% annually. So we keep that in the account for the year. We can yield 2% off of that. The other account is a little bit better money market account that runs counterintuitive of the stock market. So if the stock market is down, that money market will go up. Okay. So when the stock market goes up, we want to move our money out of that money market into something more stable. So that's the second product that we're looking at going in. And then finally, the third product we're looking into is a 65-35 investment portfolio that is geared for a 6-year plan. So that's not like we get in for a month and get out. This is a weather the storm investment plan that we would put money in that would supposed to stand the test of time to yield us. We have a potential yield between 2 and 23% based off of current market corrections. The market will correct itself. Right now, it's down to 23% or 24%. As the economy does go back open, it will correct itself, and that will get us able to get in on the ground floor. Doing this now probably be better than to wait 3 to 4 weeks, because once the market corrects itself, we would miss out on thousands of dollars if we don't invest now. So today I would like for us to have a clear-cut acceptance of this of these programs, so we can move forward with Sheila and then get the signatures we need to move those finances. So Sheila is available to take your questions. Do we have any questions?
On the four-wheeler on the trail, just to see if there's something, because the paint's all with me.
Any questions? Doesn't look like it. Okay. I would say, Mike, if there's no hearing and seeing no questions, if we're okay to take a vote, we can do a roll call vote, Mike.
Yes, absolutely. Are there any questions? Again, one last time.
How much money is involved?
I would accept a vote.
What was that, Beverly?
I was just curious as to how much money was involved.
We have a operational budget fund of 1 year of operational budget. So our operational budget is somewhere in the neighborhood of about $500,000 to $600,000. So we have a healthy fund balance of around that to move into investment.
Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion to accept Lenny's proposal as.
I make that motion.
Okay,
I'll
so
second
Bev,
Okay, so we got seconded by Dolores, and then a motion by Bev.
by Bev. Yep. Let's do a roll call vote, please.
Roger,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
Dolores,
Yes.
Bev,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike,
I don't need a vote because I'm the chair, but I will vote yes in case they want to record it.
okay, the motion passes unanimously. Okay, myself and Sheila will get with the account sign holders. The same protections that are on our current bank account are going to be in place on these new accounts, where we're going to require 4 signatures as well as the signatories that are on the accounts to move money and have access to these accounts. So we will be reaching out with you within the next few days to finalize those signatures on those accounts and to be transferring those funds from our current accounts to these new accounts. Okay, that is all.
Lenny,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
ask one question?
Uh-huh.
If this is going to go into the Edward Jones thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you need $50,000, does 2 people have to sign to get that $50,000 back out?
Moving from one account to another is liquid and fluent. But if I said I want a check in my hand, then yes. But if I'm moving it from Huron Community Bank, from our Edward Jones to Huron Community Bank, then that would just be a smooth transition. That would not have to require multiple signatures. It's very similar to where it is now, because right now I can move money from any banking institution right now between our accounts without signatures. However, if I want to withdraw it and get a paper check or get cash out, I require multiple signatures.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Doesn't look like it. You have another agenda?
No, the other agenda items are going to be earmarked for the subcommittees that we need to meet. So I would need to meet with the personnel committee to discuss. So I would need to meet with that committee. Discuss building and planning and benefits and things for employees. So my next question, I guess, is for you, Mike, because I'm not 100% sure of the bylaws. We have to decide that these subcommittees have the power to propose budgets, to authorize funds, to make payments, so that this is a clear understanding that that's what was stated at the beginning. But we should probably, I don't know if that needs to have a vote. Dan, do you think that that needs to have a vote, or that's kind of an understood?
Well, I mean, the committees tend to make recommendations, you know, to the group.
Right.
So I mean, if I would say if there is decisions that require immediate action, you know, if it's something outside the scope of different pieces, then you'd schedule a special board meeting. But, you know, if you're just looking for approval to proceed with a project or an idea, or, you know, and something within the scope of things, you're just looking for that committee to make that recommendation move forward. So in my mind, that wouldn't require a motion or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, because like say for example, like today we had to buy the trailer, you know, to authorize to spend $3,000. You know, I don't want to have to call a 9-person board meeting to do that, you know. But you know, like our to engage a particular individual on creating a project so we could present something to the board, you know, those kind of different things, those decisions I would like to be fluid on and be able to use the subcommittees on. So
Yeah, I would need to look at the bylaws, but if we don't have measures in place where, for instance, the personnel subcommittee can make a recommendation to spend X amount of dollars on an employee event or something like that, we need to get it in the bylaws that if there's any amount over X dollars needs to be approved by the board, but anything below that amount can be handled by the committee.
right.
If we really want to get it so that it's solid, that would be my recommendation. And I think any major project moving forward probably should have full board approval if it involves
I think the
work or
board,
what have you, or changes the direction of things or whatever. But any minor things, you know, putting a new program in place that's just you know, something that doesn't cost a fortune or whatever, I don't have a problem with that being done by the committees.
if I remember correctly, our bylaws says that the executive director can spend, I think, is set up to $500 without board approval. So I don't know if that was changed. Did Stan or Bev or Roger, do you remember if that was ever changed, or am I
don't know.
on the
I have no
figures?
idea.
I have no idea.
I will tell you, that is way too little for the,
Yeah,
we're talking 6 to 7 zeros that our agency uses.
right.
That $500 mark, you will be contacted every 5 seconds. I don't get out of bed on Amazon unless it's over $500. You know, so.
Well,
so
maybe we should quickly have a meeting in person to run over those bylaws and make these changes then. And I might be wrong. Maybe I'm giving you the wrong figures, but
I don't
it
think
should
you
be
are.
checked out. You think it might be around 500, Bev?
Yes.
I do
I
too.
think it was too.
Yeah, it was.
But we should get together, maybe 2 or 3 of us or something, and change those figures then, because this isn't good if you're going to spend 3,000 and the bylaw says 500. We should
Okay.
change that, shouldn't we?
One of the suggestions would be to say if it's a budgeted item that we've already budgeted, say we give a budget for office supplies of $10,000 and Lenny wants to spend $1,000 in order to get bulk pricing. I don't think that he would need to call a committee meeting to get approval because it's over $500. I think if it's a budgeted item, it doesn't need to go to a vote.
Right,
However,
and that's
if it's a new expenditure, then we need to talk about it. And I think 500 is way too low myself.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying, because
and it's
we
for
had to
$500.
purchase laptop computers and, you know, and those kind of different things. And to get a price point, you have to spend at least $2,500 to $3,000 to get a price drop of $500 or $250 per item. You know, so I would definitely say let's at a later date meet up and talk about that, changing those values.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll have additional information for you at our regular board meeting, which is scheduled on the 26th. That will cover some of the financial data and things that we covered. So this is, like I said, this meeting was really just called to kind of move forward with the Edward Jones thing and to kind of get a clear picture on communicating on these subcommittees.
Lenny, do you need a motion to approve the purchase of the trailer since it's over the $500 current bylaws, so you're able to move forward with that project?
I guess so. I guess so.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to move forward with you know, feeding the community and seniors with the purchase of the trailer for $12,000.
I'll second it.
Okay, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Dan just
I
seconded.
do. Yep.
Okay. Did you say that the trailer was 12,000 or 3,000?
No, 3,000.
$3,280 roughly, and that gives us a 6x12 enclosed trailer with an extra wheel and hitch, a wheel for the trailer itself.
Are you going to store that at the senior center?
We're going to store that, and we're going to chain it to the ground like it's a puppy.
There you go.
I saw how the buses are chained, and I'm like, absolutely, we're going to do that to our stuff. Chain it like a puppy.
Yep. Yep.
So we have the motion. We just need a vote. We don't have to do a roll call vote, but we can if we'd like. Mike, how do you want to proceed?
Yeah, let's do a roll call just so we've got a
Okay,
Yeah.
Roger,
record.
Yes,
is that your vote?
yes it is.
Okay. Stan, you seconded, but
Yes.
is okay. Dolores,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
all right, Mike, for continuity.
Yes.
All right, so that motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Before we go any further, Lenny, these meetings that we're having on the phone, are they considered board meetings?
Yes, ma'am. That's why Miss Mary Weber, and Miss Cheryl from the Alcona Review are in attendance.
Now, does Pam and
Yep.
Stephanie, I believe her name is, do they know that in the bylaws it says that if you miss 3 meetings without what, prior approval, or if you miss 3 meetings
Without notice.
anyway, yeah, that you're off the board? Because we should tell them.
I think that, but because these are not our normal business meetings,
Right.
our normal board meetings, these are special
Oh,
meetings, that
okay.
these have to kind of be in kind of within the scope of thing. And
That makes
we are in the middle of COVID-19, so we kind of have to have a little bit of grace for these individuals who are on our board.
Okay. Okay, so this doesn't really count then as if they miss it.
Right. I can tell you right now, Pam is dealing with a personal matter, and you know
Okay.
Stephanie is at work, so that's 2. I'm not sure about Rollin.
Yeah. Do you have any idea when we might be able to meet in person again? Is that still up in the air, isn't it?
I do not believe we probably will not meet probably till maybe July, and even then that's
Okay.
questionable.
Okay.
So I think we should get used to calling in and using the Zoom platform, at least until we're all safe enough to go forward.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I have for today.
While we got Dan on the phone,
Does
can I
anybody have
ask him,
anything else?
can I ask Dan a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just wondering if you have any plans for the graduation, for the kids for graduating.
Yeah, so we have a graduation date set for late July, with the hope of maybe being able to hold some form of an in-person celebration with students and maybe a couple selected family members, but not necessarily optimistic about that at this point. We tried to kick it out as long as we could just to buy us some time and try to see what the regulations might be at that point. That being said,
Okay.
I'm not sure anybody saw, a third of the state being opened up yesterday afternoon. So, things may change more quickly than that. But at this point, we're hoping late July. So we'll see what happens.
And is that going to be able to be at the school?
We're planning on it either being in the auditorium parking lot in vehicles or at the football field, extremely socially distanced.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you can work out something.
Yeah, probably the biggest concern with that, and what we've kind of been tasked with from the State Department of Education, is we don't want to be responsible for a potential outbreak and bringing a bunch of people together, and that's a lot of responsibility for us to try to bring together a bunch of different people from all over the state, potentially, into one area where, like I said, I definitely don't want to facilitate the spread of COVID-19. And so that, as much as we want to do something in person, that's ultimately the biggest factor in our minds in terms of trying to figure out how to handle that.
Did you ever think about maybe a parade like Alpena did?
Yeah, that's a backup option too. We have like a plan A, B, C, and D, and we're kind of just again going to try to sit until after July 4th and try to see what the details look like after that.
Well, hopefully it works out.
We are hoping the same. We know that we asked the students what they wanted, and they asked us just to hold off as long as we could. So we're doing this for them, and trying to see how long we can wait.
Well, I know you has been working really hard trying to do what's best for the kids and for the community, and we do appreciate that.
Hang on, let me go open the door.
Appreciate that, Dolores. It's like I said, very unique times right now. No doubt about that for all of us.
Anything else?
Okay.
Nope, I don't have anything else.
All right, with that, or you can always call Lenny or myself privately, I guess.
Yep, I will send out a email to the Personnel Policy Finance Program Planning Committee and schedule a time to talk about some of these other projects that we have in the mix.
All right. Cheryl and Mary, do either of you have any questions?
You will have to unmute yourself.
Cheryl looks like she's unmuted. Mary is not. Lenny, can you unmute Mary, or did she mute herself?
They've all self-muted. Everybody's unmuted.
Okay, so Mary and Cheryl, if you have any questions, please unmute and we can answer them.
Hi, guys. It's Cheryl.
Hi.
Mary's not in attendance. That's why I'm sitting in today.
Okay.
That's why you haven't heard from her. So,
Oh.
But no, I don't have any. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for working with us. I know we've been sending you a lot of flyers to get in the paper, and I appreciate that. And once these sites pop up, we'll give you another release for that to get out to the community. So thank you for working with us.
Actually, Lenny, thank you. We're doing everything we can to help our community, and you providing us information is a big help to be able to disseminate. And I'll be getting in touch with you for next week's paper, the 27th, because I think that'll be the soonest, the paper just before your distribution, just to kind of finalize any questions I have, putting together what you've said today and anything else that might come up in the meantime.
And you guys, if you want, you can send someone over to take a picture of this operation and see it firsthand,
Right.
because it's going to be a baptism by fire. So you might see me cry because
Yeah.
because we don't have a loading dock, and Gordon
Oh.
Food's like, you don't have a loading dock. We're going to put 21 pallets in your parking lot. Yay! Please, God, let's have good weather.
Yes. Well, you might want to get in touch with maybe the hardware store. They might have a little lift that you could utilize. One of those mini forklifts. Because I know they get a lot of deliveries like that. So, but yeah, that'll be interesting. Hopefully it won't be like the deliveries that we get on big trucks that just dump them in the middle of the street in front of the door of the review.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I'm glad to hear everyone is well and doing the best that they can. Keep up the good work, everybody.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being and helping us out and reporting fairly on everything we're doing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, our job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Sheila, if you want to give me a call.
We wish you another 125 years.
Thank you. It was only 25, but okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to end the meeting for everyone. You guys take care now.
Yep.
Be safe.
Okay.
Too.
Yep.